internet friends, welcome back to Paradise Lost in Books. I'm Christy, and today I am bringing you my spring break book haul. I just went to Kansas City, Missouri about a week ago for spring break, and if you've watched my video about bookish places I want to travel to, then you know that the Kansas City Public Library was on that list because their parking garage has a facade that looks like books, and it's super beautiful. And we really enjoyed getting to see that. The actual library itself was gorgeous as well, but we went for the book facade. But we also did other things while we were there. We went to a coffee shop slash coffee factory where they do their own roasting, and we took a tour of that. We saw the National World War I Museum and Monument. We went to a bunch of bookshops, and we also went to the Kansas City Zoo and the St. Louis Zoo, which were the most amazing zoos I've ever seen in my life. So mostly I got books, but I also got a few other things that I'm going to show you guys, so let's get to it. Okay, so another thing besides books that I really like is coffee mugs, and I honestly don't have room for more coffee mugs, but I buy them anyway. So when we were at the coffee shop called the Roastery, after we did the factory tour, I obviously had to get this wonderful coffee mug. It looks like one of those diner coffee mugs that you see on like movies and stuff. It also looks like a Waffle House coffee mug, but it says the Roastery, and it has an airplane on the back, which they have a giant airplane on top of their building, so it's kind of like their symbol. And they also do air roasting for their coffee beans, which was actually really cool and made the coffee taste a lot better, because instead of the traditional barrel roasting where all the beans are in a barrel and it just gets really hot, that way the outer beans get a lot hotter than the inner beans, so it's not an even roast. But with air roasting, they all get blown up into the hot air and they all like flip and get evenly roasted. And you can really tell a difference. So I love this coffee mug. We also got some K-cups of their amazing coffee because I'm lazy and I don't have time for the normal drip coffee or the fancy like press and whatever. Don't have time for that. We went to the St. Louis Zoo when we were leaving, and obviously I couldn't resist getting this beautiful penguin coffee mug. Penguins are my favorite animal in the wild, and their penguin exhibit was so cool. Like, you walked in and there were penguins right over your head, like standing on the rocks over your head. They probably could have like jumped down on me if they really wanted to. I got this lovely penguin mug, and on the other side it says St. Louis Zoo and has little penguin feet prints. But I also got a magnet that has penguins and St. Louis Zoo on it, but I already put it on my desk at work, so I can't show you that. Let's get to the books. So we went to two bookstores. One was called Prospero Books, and it was more of a used bookstore. It was really cool. I didn't find a whole lot there I was interested in, but it was a really cute store. They had like books hiding in the different nooks and crannies, like in the ceiling and in the basement. Like, people wrote all over the walls and stuff, so it was really cool. But I did find a couple things there. The first thing is this first edition of The Prodigal Daughter by Jeffrey Archer, which is the sequel to Cain and Abel, which is one of my all-time favorite books. I just love the 80s design here. Like, you can tell when you look at a book that looks like this that it was not published within the last decade, but I just love that look, and I am very excited to add this to my collection, even though it kind of sucks because my Cain and Abel is paperback and this isn't, but it's okay, I'll deal with it. The other thing that I got was the Cain Chronicles Survival Guide, which is basically a lot of background information on the gods and goddesses and characters from the Cain Chronicles series by Rick Riordan, and I already read this like in one day. It was really cool, and I find myself a lot more interested in Egyptian mythology ever since I read the Cain Chronicles, and this just kind of gave a little bit more detail, so that was a really fun read and a really good find. The other bookstore we went to was called Rainy Day Books. It was actually in the Kansas side of Kansas City. This was more of like a new bookstore, but they also had some really good finds, like an illustrated version of Beauty and the Beast, like the classic fairy tale, and I didn't get that because I was already spending a lot of money. Perhaps my favorite purchase the whole trip was this updated edition of the Hogwarts Library, which has the updated Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Quidditch Through the Ages, and Tales of Beetle the Bard. Since the new Fantastic Beasts movie came out, obviously they released a new edition of Fantastic Beasts to reflect the new information that we have. I just think this cover is so gorgeous. It's so pretty to look at, and the books are beautiful too. I just love this art style. I just can't. I love it so much, and I need to find a place to like prominently display these because they are truly gorgeous. I think that this is a great update. They look less like traditional textbooks, whereas the other ones looked like textbooks, but I prefer this. I don't know. I mean, this art style is just really cool, and I just like this better than the old version. Another book I added to my collection is Fairest by Marissa Meyer. Even though I haven't started Crest yet, I was like, might as well go ahead and get the book after Crest because why not? I can't say I'm super excited to read this because I think Queen Lavanna sucks and I'm really not that interested in her story, but I mean, obviously I'm gonna read it anyway because I need to read the whole series. I don't know if all copies of this book came with this, but it came with these like lunar tattoo things, which is just kind of cool. I mean, while at Rainy Day Books, I also picked up Saving Hamlet by Molly Booth. I had never heard of this book before. It's not like I was hunting for it, but the cover caught my eye, and apparently the story is about a girl who was working on a stage play of Hamlet at her high school, and she goes through a trapdoor or something and winds up in Shakespeare's era while they're putting on Hamlet. So it seems like it could be really cool, so I'm gonna give it a try and see how I like it. The last book I got at Rainy Day Books is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I've been looking to add more diverse books to my reading list, and I've heard nothing but high praise for this book, and it's very relevant to our current political climate and social climate, so I'm really excited to read this. It's about a 16-year-old black girl who lives in a poor area but goes to a fancy prep school, so she kind of has to navigate those two spaces, and then her childhood best friend is killed by a police officer. I think it's going to be a great commentary on a lot of the issues that we are dealing with today in our country, and I'm really excited to read this. I just have a couple more books. These aren't from Kansas City, but I did go to Second and Charles like as soon as I got back because they were having an educator appreciation week and they had a 25% discount, so I was like, of course I'm gonna go get some stuff. First of all, this is a plea, Second and Charles, quit putting these shitty stickers on your books. I can't get this off without mutilating my book cover. You should know better, Second and Charles. Get better stickers. They exist. I've seen them. Anyways, the first book I added to my collection is The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. I've never read Phantom of the Opera. I've heard that people like the musical better than the book, but I'm a completionist. If I see one, then I want to do the other one. So I'm gonna read this and see what I think. It's not too long, so hopefully it won't be a huge endeavor. The next book that I got is Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. My friend that I was hanging out with this past weekend, Sarah, she actually has a video game channel, so if you like video games, you should go check her out at Two Girls, One Controller. But she recommended this book to me and said it was one of her favorite Victorian thrillers, and I don't read a lot of thrillers or Victoria era books, so I was like, sure, why not? I'll pick it up. I also picked up Lord of the Flies by William Golding. Worst English teacher ever. I have not read this book. I had a weird high school experience, and I didn't read a lot of the classics that most people read in high school. I didn't read To Kill a Mockingbird until I had to teach it. I haven't read this. I haven't read Catch-22. I haven't read Slaughterhouse-5, so that's something I am planning on working on, is getting more classics read, because worst English teacher ever. But yeah, I mean, I know what the book is about, obviously, but I just need to actually read it for myself. And the last thing that I got is this lovely illustrated copy of the Odyssey by Homer that's in this gorgeous slip cover. The actual book is purple. Like, how beautiful is this? I have never seen such a gorgeous edition of the Odyssey, and it has these lovely illustrations to show you what's going on, and it makes my 9th grade literature heart very happy because I teach parts of the Odyssey to my 9th graders, and They don't like it as much as I do, but that's okay. This is gonna be a fantastic addition to my classroom. All right, guys, that is it for my spring break book haul. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you got any books on your spring break, tell me about them in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, I do hope you will give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye!